loading it up. Make sure it's streaming. Hi, everybody. In case, yes, we are. Oh, it says we're live.
We are live indeed.
All right.
Welcome in, everybody, to the fourth ever episode of Press What to Join, the podcast live stream that goes live Fridays, YouTube's over the weekends. We cover games, we cover all different platforms, Xbox, PlayStation, PC, you name it. We're all about the games, we're all about community and driving that conversation. So thank you very much for taking time out of your Friday the 13th, out of your drive to work, out of your weekend to catch us and tune in. As part of that, right, too, we have a great Discord channel that we're going to link to in GMD Geek side. Feel free to jump in the mixer. We like to have an ongoing conversation around all this. In today's show, we're going to be covering Ori Will the Wisps, Phantasy Star Online 2, a lot of different games bouncing around from Switch and mobile titles. We're going to be talking about E3 and some of the news of the cancellations, and much, much more. We've also got a guest that's going to be joining us that we're very excited to bring in. We'll be doing that shortly. As we get started off here too, we want to do a different round of introductions for our crew today. So holding down our fort here today, right, is the glue guy, the guy that keeps everything together. When he's not adminning a Discord, you'll find him curating his anime collection, tuning his vehicles, and awaiting Bungie's call to help properly buff swords. Introducing Unforsaken Jay.
How's it going?
All right, and next up we have cybersecurity savant, barbecue master, curator of all things digital. This man is a geek in the truest and most beautiful sense of the word. Introducing GMD Geek.
What's going on, everybody? I'm a little bit more of a wordsmith than Jay, just saying.
Pretty much.
Savant's coming out already, I could see. And you've got Autonomy here. I don't have a clever intro for myself, but maybe you guys can think of one in chats. Keep it clean. Keep it clean.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thanks for settling in, guys. Today we're going to start off with Ori Will the Wisps. If you haven't caught that yet, Ori Will the Wisps is a exclusive for Xbox right now. It is on the Game Pass. So if you have Game Pass, you can go get it downloaded. And it's a sequel to Ori and the Blind Forest, which came out a couple years ago from Moon Studios. So it's one of Xbox's kind of newer exclusives coming out this year. And a couple of us had a chance to play it. So we wanted to give our thoughts and impressions.
And my kid's playing it in the background right now.
Oh, awesome.
So.
Great plug.
I'll take a spot on this one. I know Otto's a little bit more passionate about it than I am. I have the Microsoft Game Pass, which is a fantastic investment. One of the reasons I still take it over the PS4 is because it has such a wide range of games. Plus, I don't know if you checked, Otto, but I believe they're adding it to the phone, to the xCloud as they were talking about it. So it'd be cool if they do add it. But I played it for a couple hours, but when I sat down to play it for the first time, my little munchkin behind me took the controller. I don't know how many hours he's into it. He made it all the way to the final boss, realized he needed more power, and went back to go hunt the rest of the stuff down and get the rest of the upgrades.
Yep.
I know.
Awesome.
And he's enjoyed it. What I really think is great about it is the mechanics aren't overwhelming. A 7-year-old can figure them out, but the game is still fun, still enriching, and still challenging. And the soundtrack is really, really good. The music is really, really good.
Yep. Yeah, and jumping in here too, got a couple hours on it myself. I really, really enjoyed the art style. The game opens up with a pretty lengthy cinematic scene to really set the tone of it. But the team at Moon Studios does a really good job of creating environment right off the bat. It's doing a lot of storytelling without actually like putting in specific story elements, a lot of world building to it. But once you start to kind of drop in, it takes a good 45 minutes of slowly introducing mechanics to you. Yeah. So it's definitely one of those platformer kind of side-to-side games, right, that is going to provide challenges. There's a lot of hidden things that aren't going to be there at the get-go, but it also introduces that you need to get those extra elements to make it to the next ledge, right, or combat something that you didn't see the first time. So I was really impressed, right, by just the design of the game, everything coming in, and ultimately, like it's something I'm looking forward to continue playing.
All right, well, let me ask you all both a question because I personally haven't played it, right?
Okay.
So to somebody that has not played it or hasn't looked at it, what would you say to them for them to go look at it and interest maybe in playing it?
Well, I first ask them what kind of games they're interested in. If they do enjoy, I mean, if they ask me, well, they say, well, I'm more into hack and slash and all this other stuff. I could maybe say, have you ever played one of the Devil May Cry games? Because there's some of the wall leaping and some of the mechanics that are involved that way, or even like the Darksiders games for having to jump around and bounce off of walls and climb things. Nothing like Spider-Man as far as like wall mechanics and stuff. You gain those abilities as you go. I would say, is it something you want to fill your time with? For me, it's a good time. If I'm trying to unwind, I don't want something that's going to stress me out with too much mechanics or too much difficulty. I'm going to go do that because it's got a really good story. The end, it's a little depressing. I'm not going to spoil it. It's a happy ending, but it's a little depressing at the same time. With how they leave it off, I'm fairly certain there's not going to be a number 3. But it was a good. So
yeah, and I can take a couple things, a couple stabs at that as well. Playing the game, it's something that's going to be friendly to you if you've played any like Switch game. It almost feels like it is belonging on the Switch too in some ways, right? When I played it, I got notes of Hollow Knight in terms of its rune system. So right as you're kind of going throughout, they might be called shards in Ori. Runes are more of Hollow Knight as a game
are
I
they
played.
shards or runes, Calvin?
But in particular,
Shards.
right, like these are abilities. They're shards?
Yep.
Yeah, so shards, my bad. But think of them as like abilities, right? So you have a limited amount of items and you have to be very strategic with the items that you play to either give yourself damage resistance, triple jumps, stronger attacks, things like that. And that scarcity with those particular item slots, I think, creates some engaging combat because there is actually combat to the game. There's a lot of traversal and puzzles and elements like that. But those types of mechanics remind me a lot of the types of Switch games that I've played. And then there's also kind of notes of Zelda in there in terms of how you're picking up parts of hearts to create more hearts and things like that as you continue to go. So I'd say like if any of those games appeal, if you're used to the Switch, but want to play on the big screen with that kind of beautiful master like presentation in front of it, this is a really relaxing kind of escapist game that you can check out.
Yep. I did want to do a quick shout out. I want to give a shout out to the crew following us. They've been consistent in supporting us on Mixer. Thanks Spark and Bobby and the rest of the crew that's there, the German and all those guys. I really appreciate it. The rest of us appreciate it. I also want to give a quick little note. You'll notice there's only 3 of us tonight. There's 3 members right now that aren't with us this evening. We have a couple of them. One of them is deployed, so my hat's off to the man. He's in the service, Mr. Hurtlocker. So I give that guy some huge respects. We got a yeet going out for him. So he'll be joining us next week. Unit and Angle are giving it their go inside of Trials, which I did tell them I would pay some respect to. There's been some ups and downs with that this last day or two with connectivity issues. We'll talk to later. But I want to give a shout out to those 2 guys since they're not here with us tonight, and all that good stuff. Anyways, didn't mean to segue out of that. I just want to make sure that we give a shout out to everyone that's watching, and let everybody know where half our team is at. So,
absolutely.
But
when are we bringing in the guest guys? Are we bringing them in now? We talking a couple more games? Want to do some Phantasy Star talk?
let's get some of let's get the fantasy going.
Oh yeah, that's to me that's a big game because that's my style.
Yeah, you kick this
too.
one off,
I'm an
buddy.
MMO person myself, and I'm still waiting. I've actually got like a countdown going on my watch and everything for the day that I can actually download it to play
The
it.
excitement and smile on your face says it all.
You lit
Definitely
up,
so,
dude.
man. Yeah, like that to me. Actually, now since we're talking about it, I want to get numbers.
So
really
and
quick.
so like give some context here too in terms of what is Phantasy Star Online? Why is there a sequel? When's it coming out?
Well, it's not really the sequel. Essentially, like it was released in Japan in
Years ago?
2012. Yeah, years ago, 8 to be exact. And now we are getting it sometime in the spring, but most of us are thinking it's just going to go from open beta straight to launch.
Yeah.
because they're releasing the Founders Packs already,
Right.
and they actually put up another tweet earlier for the Raggle Memories, which can be exchanged for the classic outfits and mag devices and such.
Awesome.
Fox
So-
outfits.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
Otto's Fox outfit for later.
I'm a lover of animals. They support them in the most platonic way possible.
Hmm.
And so it's open beta starts on March 17th at 8 Eastern, looks like.
On the Xbox.
Yeah, on the Xbox. They haven't released any more information yet about the PC version yet, but they're saying everything will transfer. You'll be able to log in because I was looking somewhere else.
So
I
what
think it
took
was
them so long to move from just a Japanese-based release to something global or US-based even?
Culture.
Culture.
Yeah.
I
I
would
mean,
say it's
because
culture.
they could see the popularity of it
Yeah.
from their closed beta as well.
Mhm.
And so I think that gave them enough fire, I guess you could say, to want to bring it to the West as well. To kind of breathe, I guess you could say, like new life back into the game.
Yeah. I'm interested to find out what changes they've made graphically between the closed beta and now. So,
That's
Hmm.
what I'm pretty sure they fixed their translation issues that they had, but graphic wise,
yeah, I'm hoping
as
because
long as they fixed it, then
some of that graphics was a
That'd be
little
great.
underwhelming for me, but it was all right.
Yeah, it is interesting, right, in terms of its face value, because it's something that as I'm listening in and learning more about the game myself, having not played it before, there's almost like a kind of cult status to it in a way, right? There's something that's kind of catching on in a underground, like lesser known way, but it's underneath the surface is what I'm trying to say, right? Like we have the graphics aren't the most stunning, but there's something else there. So like, what is that hook? Why are people so invested in the gameplay and the systems?
Okay, so it gonna go back to the anime heritage part of it and his
Yeah,
story.
pretty
This isn't based off. This isn't a game that has an anime that's based off of it. This is a game that's based off of a really popular manga and series at that. Not only this is Phantasy Star Online 2. There was a predecessor to it, really good. If you have a Hulu membership, you can go watch it on Hulu. It's subtitled, so be prepared to do a lot of reading. I believe the first
lot of
season is the
reading.
first season still on Hulu. I don't think it
believe so.
is. I'd have to go look, but there's another one.
Pretty sure.
Phantasy Star Online 2 takes place in the universe where the first Phantasy Star Online Star takes place at like a college, I guess you could say, or a college or a high school or something, where people think it's a little mobile game that they play, but it turns out to be something more than that.
Yes.
It's reminiscent to me. Okay, I'm going to go old school on you guys. How many people remember the movie The Last Starfighter? Probably
don't.
none of you guys. So the hero in the movie is a guy named Alec, and he was playing an arcade game. It was out in the middle of nowhere, and he beat. I can't even remember the name of the bad guys in it. So he won the game. He beat the game, had the highest score and everything else, and then they had this huge celebration because nothing ever happens in the middle of nowhere. Kind of like where Jay lives. And
Pretty much.
and so all of a sudden it's like midnight, and this guy comes driving by in this really weird car, picks him up, takes him outer space, and turns him into the last starfighter because that's just how it works. Well, this is kind of like that. You play these games, you get good at it, and as you playing the games, not everyone's chosen because they don't have that innate skill inside of them. But these, that's how it works. Jay and I followed that one for quite a while. Jay told me about the beta coming out for Phantasy Star, the closed one, so we played that. And I'm going to be all over playing this one. I haven't decided which class. I think I'm going to pick up with... Was I playing a fighter or a ranger? I did fighter, right?
No, I thought it was dude with the sword. Yeah, I think it was the fighter.
Yeah, I might try ranger.
'Cause I went ranger. And I think your son went ranger as well.
Yeah, he's ranger.
Right?
He did ranger. Yep.
I think I'm going to go with the braver, though, the fight with the katana this time.
I might have been what I did because I was using the katana by the time we got done. I used the katana and the dual wielding sword nunchucky things.
Yeah.
That's
Using the
true.
technical term there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sword things that go like this. Yeah,
Totally.
Technical. Real. Technical.
Awesome. And we got
Yeah,
a whole Discord channel for that too in our chat here too, right? We'll be posting
What we
updates, keep
do-
everything up to date.
Yeah, one more side note on that too. I meant to say they did update their website today
Nice.
Yeah.
to add all kind of more info for everybody that may be interested in playing the game, so you can learn a little bit more Otto as well.
I'm gonna check it out.
Speaking of that in the updates, I am going through tomorrow and adding Bungie, a couple of the Bungie feeds to automatically update to the Destiny 2 channel. Doing the same for the Division, because Division's been putting up posts lately. But
Nice.
speaking of games, something we're always asking for, and you can post it in the general channel, is if there's a game that you think is really, really cool, or you think we should go check out, post in that Discord channel. Let us know. We're gonna go check it. I'll at least take if I'm able to get a hold of a demo and I don't have to pay for it, I'll go check it out any day of the week. I'll be more than happy to try and check it out. You guys remember Dot Hack, which was a
Dot Hack GU.
Ooh.
that is a freaking flashback, man.
Actually, Spark, I have that game on my PlayStation still.
You might have to do some footage of that, man. I'm pretty sure most people don't remember. Isn't there an anime based off of the Dot Hack? There's two.
Yeah.
There's two of them.
Yeah, there's.
And that was the first one was a really weird anime. It took me a while to follow that one.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
It took me a minute to get what he was going at there, but I was like, oh yeah, I actually have that. I'd have to reinstall it since I stole the SSD from my PS4 and put it on my PC instead.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice. That doesn't surprise me. We need to get Otto to stop using his original Xbox and go start using his Xbox One. He's just too nice to his girlfriend. Or we at least need to get him a solid state drive put on it. But better yet would be if we could actually get him on a PC.
PC, don't say the words. Yeah, it'll have to come in time, that's for sure.
It was a couple letters, Otto, not a couple words, bro.
Well, all right, you got me there.
English is hard.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited for that. That's going to be this week. I'm going to try and knock out a bunch of my Destiny 2 stuff. We might as well talk about Destiny since after PSO2 beta goes live, I'll be pretty much in there.
That's my intention as well, honestly.
Yeah, because I'm not going to lie. I'm a little burnt out on the first-person shooter kind of genre, but I do still have a passion. I love Destiny 2. They just started the new season. It is mired with a ton of bounties. An interesting new public event that's kind of like an escalation protocol, but takes place on the EDZ and then a couple of the other planets. Nessus has one, and my downside of that one is that once it dies down,
as well.
the moon, once the popularity dies down, because the light level cap has been raised to what? Somebody in chat help me out.
1010 is what I was seeing. I mean, yeah.
If you try to go do that at 970, because I capped last season, if you try to go do that, a public event at 970, you're going to get destroyed. So you need, at least if you're lower levels, for some people that come back in a couple of weeks, and if people have moved on from doing that so heavily, and their light's still down, they're going to have a really tough time accomplishing that. So I see that as a big hurdle. But overall, in the PvE side, working through all that stuff, it's not been really difficult to work light level up. I think I've done only 5 or 6 hours since the season started, and I think I'm at 982 or 983 now. I haven't done any of the pinnacle stuff. I've not done anything pinnacle. I really wanted to get mired down with the test that was taken. I unfortunately didn't pass it today, so I got to go take it again. But that, and after being sick, it's just been destroyed. But that and having to fight my kid for the Xbox, but he's going to win real hard this weekend. He's not going to win over, but I did find out
who's winning back there.
Yeah, well, we did get it loaded on his Xbox. It should be all right, G. We're just going to have to carry him with us.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a divisive week. Listening in on social media, I played a good like 3 hours on this new season. Ori definitely took up some of my other time, but it's been
Mhm.
divisive, right? My Twitter feeds, Reddit has been kind of on fire recently there too, and um, I agree that like I think there's lessons to be learned from Bungie and how they release the PV content and how they evolve it over the course of not necessarily like 3 month increments, but a year, because the totality of those changes and how we see this season reflect to the last in the last, right?
Mhm.
That's something I think they're going to have to be careful with in their year 4 designs of the seasons.
Well, it's like Spark Hunter is telling us no ritual. Reminded us there's no ritual weapon, so there's no. I thought there was like one weapon to go after.
It's an Iron Banner though.
It's an Iron
Yeah.
Banner. I do
But
like Iron Banner. Out of all the PvP stuff out there, I actually enjoy Iron Banner. That's the only thing I enjoy PvP wise. Um, but and then there's trials, and Spark and people in the audience might be able to show it. Some of the guys earlier were telling me last night and all throughout the day, there's been issues staying connected.
Mm.
There's been people getting threats, the Bungie threats from account suspensions and everything because they're dropped. I know Nothing But Air
Gambit's
got
had a
dropped a
big
few
issue with that
times.
too.
Yeah, I know Nothing
Yeah.
got hit a few times with it and
Mm.
everything. So it's just like, um, best I could tell from doing some research on that one, there's not a lot of posts from Bungie. There's a couple tweets about it. It's my best guess, having queued it for a little bit earlier and watched how my packets go out. I'm going to go geeky and nerdy here. Is because of how they implemented, they now hide your IP address from being publicly disclosed in the game, which prevents other guys on the other team in PvP from DDoSing you or lag spiking the crap out of you, so that you don't lose as easily. I think that is probably a combination of how that protection is enabled combined with how we integrate with Steam
Mm.
that might be causing that, because I don't know if they're still having that same problem on Xbox or PS4. Most everything I've heard is it's coming from PC.
PC.
So
Yeah. Can I ask a question too? A couple shows ago too, where you were talking about security being one of the big concerns with Destiny and cheating.
Mhm.
Does this Steam element that they implemented here, does that satisfy what you were looking for? Because you're really concerned in the past.
that helps me quite a bit because that removes one of the major aspects of the lag routers and everything else, and then being publicly disclosed. And I'm going to touch basis on, okay, squirreled, but I also shared out a tweet earlier this week where a friend of mine or peer of mine in the cybersecurity industry was talking about social media and public disclosure of your information, and how if somebody messaged you on social media and said, hey, I'm going to be over to your house in 24 hours because I'm feeling a bit lazy right now, but because of your social media, I know where you're at and everything. Or because of your publicly disclosed IP address while you were gaming, I know where you're at because you can do a geolocate. Them hiding that now, I think, shows a little bit more responsibility on their side. It helps protect the gamers because I can see it. I can honestly see it. And I think we've read about it in the past. I'd have to do some Googling. Trials back in D1 was legitimate. I mean, it was some serious, legitimate competition. And I could see someone trying to take an IP address, figuring out where that IP is at, and then and going to town on that. But the same thing is for social media. Just be careful on it. Don't post your pictures with tagging information about where you're at and everything. It's just a bad idea. Just keep yourself safe so you don't dox yourself and let the whole entire world know where you live. But I think by them implementing that does take care of the biggest concern I had to help protect the privacy rights of the player. I still don't think they've properly 100% addressed things such as aim assist bots and whatnot, because those are still pretty heavily used. But I think in the trials environment could be easily discovered and reported. So
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
Bungie actually has a they put out a tweet earlier for it and left a link on there so you could actually report somebody if they were cheating and hacking.
Yeah.
So they've
Awesome.
been banning people from it.
And I saw in the TWAD they hired more staffing for this specifically. Like, there's obviously a lot that they shouldn't tell us to protect the community in the game, but it sounds, at least from the cheating angle, right, that has been at least somewhat addressed, right? They didn't go into that blind.
Yeah, I mean, they're working on it.
Right, and
essentially.
ultimately,
Guys,
like
I'll
the
be
weekend
right
is going to
back.
tell.
No, that's all
I'm
good.
still listening.
The
I just gotta get
weekend's
some off the
gonna-
porch.
Awesome. The weekend's going to tell like how it all plays out. It sounds like connectivity right now is an issue, and if people are like DDoS and creating connectivity issues, then that's a whole other different thing. Yeah, and we got some activity in chat here too.
Yeah,
Need more
Bobby's
quality
saying they-
control staff from Bobby.
That-
Yep.
I can agree with that. I think we were actually talking about that the other night, that they needed more quality control there.
Spark, I think you've been right, like definitely competing for trials or getting ready for. I've seen this week. Have you seen any cheating or heard anything like that in this weekend yet, or is it mostly like connections themselves and creating issues? And we'll wait for Spark to get back. Not to put him on the spot like that, but I mean, I know, for me, right, like trials is definitely something that I'm going to dip my toe in this weekend. I still have to do leveling up. It's been a busy week, so a lot of the PvE stuff still lays ahead of me to kind of crush through later tonight or tomorrow. But I'm still excited to give it a shot, right? As mainly a PvE player, it's definitely going to take time for me to build up those muscles and, like patterns, right, that PvP is often based on. But
I think the hard part for me is going to be with the stuff with PSO launching beta is making sure I balance out the game time and versus which game I'm going to play versus my family and everything, work and study.
so does that relate to like in terms of like you don't think you'll be able to get to trials is what you're saying?
I have no.
It's PvP.
I have no
Geek's
illusions of
really
grandeur.
not going to play.
I'm not a PvP person. Now, well, actually, let me rephrase that. In Phantasy Star Online 2, I'll probably do PvP, but that's a different set of mechanics.
Yeah, it's not.
I wish in Destiny 2, instead of making every, hey Calvin, can you close the door for me? Instead of making every class feel about the same as each other, could you imagine if they made a Titan into a actual like up front in your face melee kind of tank person? Give me a double-handed hammer, or for Jay a sword. Give me a shield or something. Give that distinguishing so I have an ability to go out and play a different character type. Now that doesn't work so well for PvP because of how everything goes, but it would be so awesome.
Yeah, but
for
it would
regular
still
world.
be a lot of fun to have something like that.
With Phantasy Star Online 2, you get that ability. Okay, they're not going to balance the classes. If you want to be somebody that's in your face and can take a hit, you're going to play one of a couple different types of classes. If you want to be a ranged fighter, you're going to play something else. So I think you get a little bit more variety, which is what I look forward to. And in the game, you could be the ranger in another class. They get machine guns, so it's not just sword, board, and magic.
I think it's the. I think it's the hunter.
Yeah,
now,
hunter.
As my Destiny counterpoint though, does them giving Warlike a little more melee, does that like get us the hint of class differentiation in that way, right? They have a spell thing that they shoot out, right? Does that work in line with that theory, or does it need to be significantly more pronounced?
I mean, Warlocks are still space wizards, so.
Yeah, I mean, the end of the day, what's the distinguishing thing? The special, the handheld Nova.
Class abilities, but
really,
they're still
you take the class ability away. Okay, my super is down. I don't have any grenades. What separates me from the other classes? How I punch?
Jump. I mean,
and jump.
That's it.
Jumping. There's no individual identity between the classes. And with the last armor release, and I'm going to take some guff on this one. My kid said it was perfect. The Titan looks like he's going snowboarding. So, I give
kudos. Go visit Otto.
Yeah. You what, Jay?
I said the Titan's going to visit Otto. To go snowboarding.
I go snowboarding. Yeah, let's go. We got sugar love up here. Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
Sunday River. Yeah. Good stuff. Well, there's probably plenty more to talk about on, like, say, Destiny 2, on, like, new releases and stuff like that. Do you guys have any other, like, kind of final thoughts on Destiny for the moment?
No, not at the top of my head.
Yeah, fair. It's been talked about a lot, so it's one of those things.
It's more or less, I'm going to go do some bounties later, eventually, to turn them in. I mean, I already did them all, but I just need to turn them in.
Yeah, what's interesting from my perspective, it's like I'm playing the casual card here. It's been a busy week, right? Like
Yeah.
Destiny being in its state like super favors me. Like I'm not as worried about like grinding up and getting ready for it. Ooh, what do you got there, Geek?
New video card.
All right.
That's what I wasn't going to let sit on the front porch.
Yeah, I can understand
There. All right. What do you mean, Bobby Titan?
The armor?
Titan. The armor?
The Eververse armor? Is that what you're getting at?
GPU, he said.
GPU. What's that?
And
Can
You
talk about the one that
lost me. RTX.
RTX.
Oh, the card. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's yeah, no, it's the Asus ROG GeForce RTX Ti 2080 Ti. It and my second NVM2
Nice.
PC4 card came today. I guess I should show everybody because we're going to talk about PC builds tonight. But I do have. Where's it at? I'll put it up on my camera. This is going to look really, really weird to everybody, but there we go.
There it is, the
yep,
focus.
right there.
Yeah, I'm building a new gaming PC, and those are mostly empty boxes. But yeah, so
Yep. Nice.
it's I've done a lot of upgrades to this one. One of the things that came across is a lot of people said you can't stream in game at the same time if you don't have a really decent box. So I have an i9 and it's really well pimped out, and it's sitting down here, but I haven't been gaming and streaming on it because I took that as a personal challenge. So what I have been gaming and streaming on is a i7 with 16 gigs of RAM, a solid state hard drive, and a 1070 graphics card. Nothing special. And learning how to use your bits, learning what resolution to stream at and play at makes a huge impact, but I have not had any problems. I might have like a 2 or 3% frame drop, which is, oh no, not the end of the world, but it's very, very possible. I've done that for probably the last couple of weeks now. But starting tomorrow, I'm going to go back to the big box. So
Fair enough.
plus, if I'm not around tomorrow, that means my wife killed me because she's taking the Google IT certifications and she wants to learn how to build a PC, so she's helping with this.
So if I don't hear from you tomorrow,
Send a search party.
okay,
Noted.
will do.
All right, twist
But we
dice.
can like claim to your things, right? And give it away for raffles for the.
You'll have to
the
fight
chat,
my,
right?
you'll have to fight my son for it.
Okay.
So.
He only needs one. He'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of following up on a couple notes from our Mixer chat here, Destiny 2 related. Spark Hunter saying, right, only releasing one exotic armor piece was disappointing. Definitely agree,
Speaking
right?
of exotic armor, though,
Mm-hmm.
the Hunter's exotic already being unable to be equipped.
Really? Did they disable
it's-
it?
Already. It
Yeah,
took
because-
2 days and it was done.
Yeah, because
Oh,
you could
man.
apparently make the super last forever.
Yeah. Essentially, yeah. You could make the super just go and go and go. And they were like, yeah, no.
Right.
So, yeah, it was. Yeah, I read about that. Was that earlier today? They posted it. They pulled it out last night or this morning.
I remember seeing it. I think I saw it yesterday.
Okay.
I think DMG said something about it. I know Astacross did because he had just gotten it. He was like, what?
Yeah.
It's disabled.
Yeah.
Infinite Whirlwind Guard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Spark, were you using it?
No, he's a Titan, dude.
Yeah, he's a Titan. He's been showing off his gear.
Yeah,
he's
he's a
ready.
Titan.
Who's a
man.
hunt? I mean,
Yeah.
Nutton is a Titan. Spark is a Titan.
So I remember
Yeah.
Spark was showing off his middle tree Titan with
Star is a hunter.
Dune
Star.
Marchers, right? He was talking to me about that build where you can proc the exotic like boots like ability that's static spray with the hammer throw.
Yeah. I've been using the what are those ones called that we got last season that make
Phoenix Cradle.
the Phoenix Cradle that make the sunspots last longer.
Yeah.
That's been actually, and I was telling people yesterday when I was grouped with Jay and the other guys that we were trying to do. It wasn't because I was like, "Oh, I'm going to go play with it." It's just they dropped at 977, so I was like, "I'm going to put them on."
Bobby and Burge actually.
Yeah,
Were the
Bobby
ones
and
that
Verge.
were
Yep,
on.
yep, yep.
I took a page from Otto's book actually. Was using Middle Tree Sentinel.
I like it.
You
Hate
were.
the Graviton Lance.
Yeah, it's like this like very like boom, right? Like that middle game where you've got
No,
like
it was
the like
so much
melee
fun though.
ability, you got that grenade ability, and just if in
They
mobs you can
recharge
just
each other
ignite
back
everything.
and forth though.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a fun build. If you throw on like an armamentarium or something like that and get an extra grenade, and you have
Yeah.
demolitionist on a shotgun or any of the other.
See, that's why I actually started searching for weapons that I had that on it.
Yeah.
While I was running that, it was a good time.
For sure. I mean, I was using it in Legendary Sundials and things like that last season.
The only thing I want to see if Spark will agree or disagree with on this one. So last season, everyone remembers them nerfing the Recluse to remove it to make it less of a meta.
Yeah.
And then we get the artifact this season
Yep.
that only lets you do sidearms and submachine guns. So what they were trying to make on meta, I think everywhere I go now, 90% of the people I run across have a Recluse.
Yep.
Please
That's
correct
what
me
I
if
was
I'm wrong.
saying earlier.
I saw-
after you got off Geek, I was still running on the EDZ in the Whitney Cove.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody there had Recluse on.
That doesn't surprise me. It
Yeah.
really doesn't. I've been running
I did
Mountaintop
see-
and Recluse.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Glad even posted, right, a tweet, right, just basically
Yep.
proclaiming like the new meta or the old meta is back, right? Mountaintop, Recluse, Anarchy for the top, kind of like challenge raid oriented,
Yeah,
you know,
pretty
streamers
much.
out there. I'm not gonna lie, like, so when I saw that tweet, like what I thought about was like retirement of weapons is a good idea. Well, or more, right? Hold on, or more that it's needed to fix the problem. Because balancing is too difficult, and they've proven that it's going to go and swing too many different ways. So think about this, right? They can retire a Mountaintop or Recluse, and then they don't have to worry about that problem, and you focus on other meta weapons, and rather having that conversation of us going back and forth. That was my kind of hot take.
I'm less concerned about them retiring a weapon, but more concerned about the fact that they're forcing the gameplay. You have hundreds of thousands of players, and not everyone enjoys a sidearm. Okay. Not everyone enjoys playing with submachine guns. I mean, the forums, this is where they were getting ranked across the coals.
A Geek, we know you love sidearms deep down.
Only the Rat King, and only when we're six-manning, because that was a lot of fun. We all six-manning got the unit and angle. Who all was in on that?
We'd done that on Xbox too.
Yeah. In Menagerie, Rat King in the Menagerie was a lot
we did
of
in PvP.
fun. Just freaking destroys everything.
Take a 6 stack with Rat King and PvP.
But
is a good
here's
time.
the thing. Rat King's an exotic. You can't use any modifiers from the artifact.
See, that's the thing I wish they would allow us to do.
But so now, if I'm going to run around most places, I'm running Mountaintop, Recluse, and I've been actually using the Black Talon Sword quite a bit, honestly,
Nice.
or my Xenophage. Or if I'm going to go into the raid, it'll probably be Mountaintop, Reckless Oracle, and Whisper, because Uzanagi now sucks.
Yeah, the reload is
Yeah, with
hard,
the
right?
with that outlog on now.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
See, my loadout is actually still the same, kind of. Revoker, Recluse, and Bane of Sorrow. Machine gun.
I like Bane of Sorrow. I never got a good roll on it, but that was a solid weapon as like an alternative to Hammerhead.
It's been doing me pretty solid, especially with this new event that we've been running. So, because till my light got up, and now it's kind of meh. Now I went back to using Wendigo.
Yeah. Wendigo's great.
Yeah, it's a good time.
So guys, do we want to talk any other games, right? And then shift gears maybe in terms of like topics. But I know we touched on Persona 5, Fire Emblem. Is that a good time for those, or we want to table that for today?
I haven't played either one, so you'd have to talk to Jay.
I have
you feeling,
played
Jay?
both of those, actually.
I mean, I've played one in particular.
Well, speaking about Persona, because I was telling Geek the other day too, if you're going to play Persona, I wouldn't play the first one currently. You still could. It'd be a totally entire different game. by what they're saying because the story is changing for them injecting one person into it that wasn't in the original one.
Yep.
And so that's completely changing the way the game is and the mechanics for said dungeons, castles, whatever you like, palaces as Persona 5 calls them, but they're changing the mechanics in there, and then you also have a grappling hook. It's a essentially a turn-based JRPG that's a dungeon crawler.
Gotcha. Is it still? It's PlayStation exclusive, right?
So
Yes.
is it like a strategy game then?
Kind of,
Turn-based
because you got
strategy?
to know, you kind of got to pick and choose your own battle, so to say, as well as you're going through there. Because there's multiple floors
Okay.
in said palace as you're going through.
Mm.
And so you got to know when to conserve SP or, magical abilities and stuff like that, or ammo for a gun that you carry with you and such like that, or healing items, as you could say.
Gotcha.
So you got to keep an eye on all of that as you're trying to crawl through the dungeon.
And then your encounters as you do them, it's turn based. So you go, they go, you go, they go, or is it you go?
Your party goes,
Okay.
then the enemy goes if they're still low.
You don't get like part of your party goes, and then part of the.
It depends. I think it's more like their speed thing too.
Okay.
Because I noticed as I leveled up, and say you run I don't know, I was like level 99 at one point in Persona 5, but that took way too long. But once you're there's nothing to it. Like you just go first every time.
Gotcha. It feels like, I'm hearing you describe it, I heard elements of Final Fantasy 12 in terms of the environment and how you encounter bad guys on the field. And then I heard elements of even Final Fantasy 10. Would you agree with those assessments, or is it distinct enough where it can't really fall into that category?
I mean, to me, it's a possibility, but see, because I started playing Persona, was still on PlayStation 2. And so over the years, I've watched it change, and I can still say it's kind of got a little call out to that. But
when does that come out?
The 31st.
Okay. I know you sent me a link to it. I just hadn't checked it out. Have you posted a link to it inside the Discord for people?
I haven't, because the one I had actually looked at, remember I sent to you and it said it was unavailable, the one that I bought back in December.
Yeah, but the one you sent me was available, and I did. I think the one that you sent me I pre-ordered. Let me double check that.
Yeah, which is fine, but yeah, Otto, to me, it's definitely worth playing. For me having a PS4. There was actually a guy that had told me about Persona, and that's actually the reason I got a PS4. His name was Chrono.
Oh.
He had told me about the game, Otto, and then next thing you know, I have a PS4, I have Persona 5, and then I've got 800 hours into it.
Okay, I see Persona. Well, there's
in Mixer chat too. We got German. Looks like we got a shout too playing that on the PS3.
German.
What's the new one? Because I see it.
Persona 5 Royal.
Persona 5.
You haven't played it yet, German? What?
You really should, man. Still in the plastic.
Oh man, that's actually a good end of the show question. What game have you bought and never played?
I'm gonna go ahead and post it in general chat.
Awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, so far to me, because with the addition to the new character, they're extending the game too, so that you can finish the semester. Because essentially, you're a high school kid. And I'm not really gonna spoil the story too much on it, because it's got high school life in the day, and then dungeon crawler in the evening. So it's time management as well.
Wow, this strikes me a lot like Fire Emblem. Now that I hear that. Wow, I was wait, are you talking about Fire Emblem now?
No, so see,
Three Houses.
Since you say that too, those two are really similar.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm probably. You should have said that to me to get me hooked on that, because Fire Emblem Three Houses
really
has been a lot of fun.
The time management in Fire Emblem Three Houses is really.
What you're saying there, bud?
There you go. Right there, it's on the stream.
Yeah,
awesome.
This is what he's talking about. It's pretty cool. And again, this is another game based off of anime.
Yeah, there's an anime for 4 and 5 out there.
Yep, and they're on Hulu, just FYI. So if you have Hulu or Crunchyroll, actually, I think has it. Have to double check that, but I know Hulu's got it for a fact. The headless motorcycle chick, the guy that likes to throw vending machines, that's also a bartender.
What?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That
it
sounds
gets
good, though.
interesting also. Otto,
Yeah.
like if you ever got a PlayStation, that'd be probably the first game I recommend to you.
I mean, they're cheap these days, right? End of the console generation, you could pick probably
Yeah,
150,
you
$200
could
something up.
probably get.
Just wait till the PS5 and the next gen consoles come out.
Sorry, is
You'll be able
Bobby
to.
in chat goes, no, don't. PC first, lol. It's so true, so true. Bobby, I need that. Keep coaching me that way.
Yeah,
Bobby, you can have all the above, bro.
Geek does.
That's true.
Oh, see, he says I got you.
We
So he's
know
gonna get your
we
PC, Otto.
we should make commentary about what Bobby does or uses to obtain technology.
He says
It's like no.
Uh,
Called him out. He was like, "No, please don't.
No, please don't. No.
Stop."
No, stop.
But Otto, let me
yes.
get your opinion. So for all the stuff that you've heard about Persona 5, if you had a PS4, what do you think?
I mean, I'd play it. Yeah, I'd be in if I had a PS4.
Yep.
It sounds right up my alley. As much as I like first person shooters, I've always liked having that.
What did they call that? From gaming, take that break. You need that like relaxing game, chill out.
Yeah,
Solo.
And there's something like I like math-based games in a way too, and those like kind of like turn-based games, which are often like the traditional RPGs. You're evaluating your health, mana, abilities, and all that stuff. Like even though that's not per se relaxing, like there's a certain like quietness that I can just play that game and have fun with.
You can zone out and really get into it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's it sounds like something that I dig, right? That Fire Emblem reference as as you were describing it just popped in.
Yeah,
like I love the gameplay of that. It's like chess in a way, but made game.
It is, and it's not.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that's as you can hear me even trying to describe like these genres. They're so all over the place in a way. Like there's not like a specific term that's coming top of mind.
Yeah, because I mean, when it comes to Persona though, it's I think the reason I like it too is because I don't know how many people have played Persona 4, but I have it on my Vita, and it was like a lighter tune.
Yeah,
like more happy themed and stuff. Where Persona 3 was dark as could be, and 5's kind of somewhere in the middle for genre wise.
Yeah,
like there's some dark underlying tones to it, but it's still pretty solid.
Yeah, I was gonna say the art style of it's always been really striking too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is like right up my alley.
Yeah, it's a great game. See, I remember seeing they were talking about the Switch sometime maybe. So just keep asking.
Yeah, I keep waiting for some sort of leak or something for the next gen.
Yeah,
of the Switch,
I've been waiting
the
on
Switch
that.
Point 2, because I want to get another one, but I'm not getting it until the new one comes out because, yeah, their controllers are too expensive. My wife's like, "Are you gonna get another set of controllers for the Switch?" And I was like,
$70 later.
No, I'll just buy a new Switch.
Well,
it's more economical.
Yeah.
Geek, I just used the Pro controller actually for the Switch.
Yeah.
That's all I use.
And if I ever need to borrow a game, I just ask my little brother. He has every game for the Switch, by the way.
Actually, my Switch is sitting behind this monitor.
Nice.
I just turned it on with the controller.
But I do know that they brought out what's the name? They Lego in this Nintendo just brought out the new Mario Brothers Lego game, right? Did I read that wrong today? I saw a blurb. I read about two sentences on it, and that was it. Does anybody know?
Legos. German says in Mixer Chat.
Legos. Yeah, I want to check that out.
German says they got their 4th. German, you have 4 Switches at your house?
How many kids do you have, man?
What?
How many kids do you have?
Yeah, he's got 4 Switches. Wow.
You have 4 kids? Or is one for you, one for your wife, and
2 kids?
It's one for the family.
Family plan.
Nice. Very nice. Did you get
that's the family plan.
Was the new one for you or for your wife?
The Animal Crossings, yeah, I'd seen that all over Twitter for Animal Crossings, dude.
Bro, I give you kudos, man.
Yeah,
that's legit.
Man, that's good.
That is so awesome.
It's smart though
awesome.
too, German. Like I understand. Like multiple Xboxes is the way to go when you have multiple people in there. It's rather everybody gets their own device rather than competing for one. You get more gaming time that way. So
The only
German.
problem is, no, German, do you have this problem? Like when we first started with the Switch, I was all about, okay, I'm all about the digital download. I don't want to have to worry about media or cartridges or DVDs or any of that stuff. So I did everything digital. Now that we have multiple Switches in the house, I'm wishing that I would have bought them on a cartridge.
Yep.
That way I could share it easier, because once it's installed
Yeah.
on one, it's I know that account. So how are you guys doing? Are you guys doing digital download, or are you actually buying cartridges?
Personally, I have cartridges myself.
Yep, I know my kid brother has cartridges. He's the one that told
Yeah,
me you
because
really
my
should get
Fire Emblem
cartridges.
is actually on a cartridge in there now.
Nice. Yep. So
Speaking of Fire Emblem, I did have a question for Otto.
Yeah.
Otto, do you
What's
like
up?
the hack and slash games as well?
So Devil May Cry is probably the closest for the hack and slash that I've come. So
There you go.
sort
That's
of.
for German.
Nice.
That's from Japan.
It takes a certain storyline in the hack and slash for me to really follow.
No, the reason I was asking, because you remember how what is the Bandai Namco used to make games that are the hack and slash. What was those games called? Dynasty Warriors games.
Dynasty
Oh,
Wars.
wow.
I never checked them out.
Well, Fire Emblem has one too. On the Switch.
Right. Fire Emblem Warriors? Yeah.
Yes.
Did I get it?
I'm some reason you talking about that made me think of the really bad movie remake of Double Dragon.
No, I was gonna say, if you were liking hack and slash games, it's something that you could look up to see if it'd be something you were even
Check it out.
interested in.
Yeah. Put it on the docket. Certainly balancing a lot right now, but Fire Emblem Three Houses was my first entry into that, so it's one of those things I could easily have seen myself going back and playing some of the other ones once I'm
If
done.
you had a 3DS, there's the one I would advise from that era is probably
That's a great
Awakening.
picture, Bobby.
Bobby.
By the way, Bobby, you're live now, just as you
Yeah.
should
And
be.
don't know if you'd know if your picture was like that or not. If that was the plan to be like nothing.
I like it because we get these random
Yeah,
avatars.
because it's always
just
random
like-
every time they pop up.
Yeah, it's such a.
Yo, what's up?
You look
What's up,
nothing
Bobby?
like I thought
What's
you were
going
gonna
on,
look
Bobby
like,
J?
dude.
Not much.
Everybody, this is Bobby. He runs with us. One of the reasons we had him on is he posted earlier this week, man after my own heart, some security information. I always try to find ways to bring cybersecurity into our chats and gaming, because people still don't think it's a worthwhile conversation or topic piece when it really should be. But he had posted stuff about the Ryzen processors in response to one of the ones I posted about the Intel processors. So I was like, oh, let's just get Bobby in the channel. And then after we said that and we started talking about getting him in, the conversations went downhill from there. And something happened with a Furby and a fox. And Otto's supposed to tell us all about that.
Oh
Mr.
man.
Foxy. How you doing? How you
I'm
doing, Joe?
doing good. I have to withstand the exposure of the most embarrassing /
Sorry,
endearing nickname ever.
Are you going to tell the story?
I mean, the greatest night of my life.
So, Bobby, I'm curious. I mean,
how
I
much
almost,
alcohol was involved?
Yeah, that's what I'd like to know too.
So,
How drunk was she?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
just yes.
Yes.
Two sheets to
nice.
the win.
For context that people are listening to this nonsense, I'm sure German was there when it happened, but there's a moral to this whole story, which is do not let your significant other on mic during a raid with your crew. Do not. They will be merciless and destroy you.
Yeah.
The story, though, however, follows something like this. And Bobby, correct me if I'm wrong and misremembering. It's been a while
I'll
since this
never
came
forget,
out.
man. I'll never forget it.
But raid night, right? I don't
Yeah.
remember the raid, but it's Destiny 2 raid night where we're running things. The girlfriend and I live in a fairly small apartment, so when I'm raiding, right, she knows it's going down. I'm all focused and stuff like that. We must have come out from clearing the raid or whatever, and I go in the other room to get another drink or go to the bathroom or something. And I come back and my girlfriend is on the mic. And if you have ever seen the look of horror in a face, like just imagine that's me sweating profusely as I know the clan is open
no
comms,
mute,
no
nothing.
mute.
Just goes, "Hey, Mr. Foxy," and I'm like, "Oh no way!" Comes back on the mic, and I'm just like, "So, you gonna tell us what Mr. Foxy means?"
Foxy?
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Oh,
Did she
man.
make you? Never mind. Family channel.
Teen friendly. God, come on.
Oh man. It's a question you can ask him later.
And since
don't want to.
point, I have lovingly been dubbed the furry lover. So if you guys see that in the Discord chat, it comes from this endearing story which teaches you how awesome your clanmates are.
Yeah. As soon as I heard it, his name got changed, and then it changed like 3 or 4 times that night.
Yeah, I changed it the other day for him.
So
it's like a
because
cycle,
of Bobby,
right? This all because of Bobby and German and all those other guys.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you want to know the real story, right, there is a real reason why the nickname is actually Mr. Fox or Fantastic Mr. Fox, stemming from that particular Wes Anderson movie. So it is a real nickname that was given to me by her, my girlfriend's best friend, and then obviously mutated by you lovely human beings.
We're good at that. Thank you very much.
That's pretty good.
Now that I've been thoroughly embarrassed, guys, we need to ask Bobby some questions here.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I'm curious, I've run with Bobby a few times. It's really kind of interesting when him and his brother Verge are in there together.
Yes.
You should raid with them.
Oh, that's an experience.
Especially on a Kraken night.
Might, as long as it's like doesn't go down like that that one Scourge raid with that. Yeah.
No, if you give them Kraken, it might, because I ran.
Oh man, I could hold my own with Kraken. All right, I've battled that beast a couple times.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of want to go in. I was watching a video. I don't know who put it out. I'd like to get a group of guys together with the Tommy Knocker and go into do Risen. Apparently, it works pretty good.
Really?
Is anyone
pretty cool?
I only saw the video once. I don't remember who did it, but it looked like it worked. So it'd be interesting testing it out.
Right.
That would be pretty sweet, yeah.
But now, so I know I met you because of Jay.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys? Now you've known Otto for a while too, right?
Oh
Right.
yeah.
I've been carrying Bobby's butt through raids for years now.
Let's hold up there.
Okay. Alrighty.
I think my backpack's gained a couple extra pounds because
the rucksack.
That's fair.
Okay, so what's your gaming genre? Are you a first person shooter then, or do you like other stuff, or what's the?
Oh, I play a plethora. I mean, Destiny's been my main game for a while due to work and stuff. It's a very time consuming game. It's gotten a little bit, a little bit better as time has gone on, a little bit more casual. I do want to see it go back more towards that more hardcore vibe, though, a little bit better. I have played games from, I don't know, Darksiders, Devil May Cry,
Wow,
Kingdom Hearts. I know I'm getting there, man. We're gonna deep dive here for a sec. Call of Duty a long time ago. Haven't played it in a while though. Division 2. Played Mario games. I've played Wii games, Wii Sports. I don't know. The amount of games, like, there's a list. I would have to sit down one day and actually write down a list of the games I've played. Fortnite too. Yeah, there was a little stint there. Fortnite.
Games. That's just a few games.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot more. It would take up way too much of this podcast if I did.
All right, let me focus this then a bit here. If you had like a desert island video game, one game, desert island that's got electricity and an awesome TV and console of choice or PC, what game would you choose to play for the rest of the time?
Destiny 1 Taken King.
Oh,
I like it.
That's not bad.
That was, to me, peak. I mean, Forsaken was good. Don't get me wrong, but Taken King to me, like coming from Destiny 1's base story, Dark Below was fun. House of Wolves was all right. Taken King though just breathed a lot of fresh air back into the game.
Yeah.
And I'm totally cool. Like, I wish they kept that model of yearly reset, kind of moving along. You build up the arsenal, but it doesn't like completely, wipe it out. You can still use it in old activities and stuff, but there's always that, okay, here's the new stuff to go get, yearly. Like Taken King did, we got up to like, I think it was like 365 power at the end of House of Wolves.
Yeah.
Started Taken King 170. We got up to, I think it was 320. Yeah, 320. Then we went into the Taken Spring 335. I mean, I was fine with that. Like, I was hoping with Rise of Iron when that came out, it was going to kind of be okay, kind of crunch the numbers back down again a little bit. Maybe not 170 again, but maybe like 200, 225. So you can still use your Taken King weapons going forward.
Well, do you think that there's going to be another number squish? I mean, 1,010.
Oh,
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of silly, right, at this point?
Most definitely.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's getting up there.
It's even getting to the point now where you can go into an activity and be, maybe even last season, we could use that as an example. I was going into the Sundial, it was 950. I was 980. Didn't matter.
Yeah.
I really wish Destiny would just embrace it. Like, you gain that light, the light level, it matters. Not just to get into the better, the harder activities, but just to, you feel like I could take more hits, I do more damage.
That's a good statement, because I remember like back Taken King and all that stuff, that extra 5 to 10 points of light that you had from being a raider that you could only get from doing the raid and everything else. That actually made a difference in your regular day-to-day activities. And you would come across people in the tower and they'd be like, yeah, dude, that's cool. You made that extra time. Because not everyone was doing that, instead of the balancing and everything else, I wish Disney might look at bringing something like that back. Give us some sort of incentive to do the raids, to actually go take the time to do the raids. Or the activities, and make me be, hey, dude, this guy's a guy that figured out, or a girl that figured out how to go do the raid. They got the extra stuff. They're strutting their stuff, and that 10 points of light, man, they're a little bit more of a,
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I mean, not even that. Like, when we got to the end of Destiny 1's life cycle, the armor glows and stuff that we had when they
the chroma.
Oh, yeah, man. Like,
we still love you, buddy.
Like,
all
the
man,
crazy armor and stuff you got from the raids. Oh.
Yeah, dude, give me some of that. Yeah. I think
it's super black.
Yeah, so I think one of the things I'm missing from like in Destiny 2 is the plethora of gear that we had in D1 versus D2. And people are like, well, give it time, it'll come out there. Destiny 2's been out for how long now?
I think 3 years now.
And we're still talking about a shortage of gear. The transmog has been a fantastic enhancement. Now let's get some more. Let me have some better looks. And for the love of it all, I know this last season with the new seasonal armor they just brought out, which I'm not a big fan of, but at least I don't have shoulder pads from Inferno in my gear until I get to the end of the season, where the seasonal ornaments. It looks like I'm wearing a freaking turkey baster leg hat protector on my shoulders. I'm like, oh,
that's a good definition of that.
Well, am I wrong? It looks like,
I've seen some like some good stuff on Twitter and stuff like that. Like, you could shade it and couple it with other stuff too. So like some of the pieces individually are probably better than the sum of it.
Some of them, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, but not all together.
I was talking to somebody. Who was it? It was yesterday from Mesa's Discord, and they were talking about the armor. Is like, okay, they're now putting Titans in cloth, so we're no longer the Titan, but more of like like a robust hunter. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can see where we're starting to have a little bit of an identity crisis that way, because the Titan's always been the metal armor kind of knight and shield kind of person. But now that's going away. So what's the next set of armor going to look like? Are we going to start looking like warlocks?
I hope not.
Man.
I really hope not.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be ebbs and flows in the armor and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
definitely, sometimes not for EA, right?
Yeah. Well,
you got to lean on those ornaments.
I do like the new chest piece from the seasonal armor that you can get off of Eververse or from the first part of that armor gear.
Yeah.
As long as I can put a different shader on it.
Yep.
See, to me, some of the armor can look good.
Because
it just depends on the shader that I put on it to make it look good.
Yeah, because I like it doesn't have shoulders. But the pants driving me nuts.
I feel you.
So I got another question for Bobby. Still on the Destiny side. How do you feel about not having raids in seasonal content like this? And what I want to preface before I let you go is, right, our kind of experience together has really been through raiding. We had a really stable raid team through Forsaken and everything like that. So for me, whenever Destiny's had content droughts, raids have been this thing that carries a PvE player through, probably like how Trials carries PvP players through. But how do you feel as maybe more of a PvE-centric player without these raids? Is it something that you're taking in stride that creates a huge deviation in the game?
I mean, yeah, it's sad to see them not showing up as much. I do understand. They do have a smaller staff now, and they definitely do not have the manpower that they used to have. But at the same time, it's I guess it's more in the sense of it's.
Would you like raid layers back? Because and I'm not trying to say you didn't like them, but raid layers were a thing, and smaller raids were a thing, and then they get compared to big. So, would you take a small raid instead of a big raid here?
I mean, I guess here's my question back: what's the incentive to run them?
Mm-hmm.
If you look at D1's raids, I mean, we could even any of them, Vault of Glass
or Independent Strike Loot.
Yeah, well, why did you run Vault of Glass? Besides it being fun, those
weapons, the power level was required, right? It was all.
And the question was, how many times did Jerry fall going to the oracles?
Now that you say that, Bobby should remember this when we ran all the raids in one night.
I will never forget it.
We did that once or twice.
A raid marathon.
Yep. Yeah, we challenged another group of guys to do it.
Oh, man. Wild.
It's the Hurtinator. Yeah, yeet.
Evil left us when we were jumping because he said he couldn't do it. So we told him we had already made it through and he joined back. And we didn't make it through yet. So
that's amazing.
We trolled him into it.
But I guess my point is with the Destiny 2 raid, what I've been noticing lately, the guns are cool. Don't get me wrong. But the thing that they're missing is they're missing the want for me to go get them. I love that they have the random rolls. That's cool. But it's not a freight bringer. I'm not asking for them to add guns Recluse to take over my loadout and I'm always using it. But give me a reason to be I want to go get, Reckless Oracle. It's the first auto rifle that has, I don't know, something crazy on it, some new perk, even intrinsic perks they could put on them. They could keep the random rolls, but put intrinsic perks it does more damage to Vex or Scourge of the Past, they do more damage to Fallen.
Right. And they did that with the Taken King, right? Coming back to your kind of favorite moment with them earlier.
Well, I mean, how hard would it be for them to do something like they did in Division 2 where you could go in and maybe be a gunsmith and you could actually start picking your traits and build your own customizations. So all of a sudden, I mean, I have a Reckless Oracle, and instead of them being random rolls, I could actually go build the traits that I want. Yeah, I might have to farm up the mats for it or something, but could you imagine if I could actually go pick the traits?
You'd have a lot more people playing, though.
You'd have a
lot
more.
You could choose the perk you wanted on it.
You'd have a lot more customizations because people are like, oh, there's just going to be one or two metas that people are going to find out of the bat, the most wicked combinations, and that's all they're going to use. I said, but if you do that for every gun and every armor, the combinations that you have that all of a sudden shoot up to be possible end game, like, oh my gosh, builds more than triples or quadruples, I would think, because all of a sudden, like, what for me I would like versus what other people would like are two totally different things. I would love to, like, I'm a demolitionist. I love demolitionist on my gun.
Yeah.
On my auto rifle, give me demolitionist so I can throw more grenades. And then maybe give me, like, I don't know, feeding frenzy or something else, or warp. Let me build those. Let me go put the barrel types, the mag type.
Oh man,
Let me do customizations.
if you
like
start
I
adding
get to.
stuff like that,
Can I-
then it's always going to change though,
season.
because
Next
kind of like
expansion,
this though too. Is
Weapons 2.0.
Right.
Calling it.
even if he likes even if say Geek likes a certain role, say he wants demolition and feed and frenzy,
Yep.
right? Well, in my case, say like, well, I don't want demolitions on mine. Well, yeah, it may be great for him, but it may not be great for you.
Yeah. Play styles. It's all about your play style.
Yeah.
At that point, when they've done that, all of a sudden Bungie has said, hey, you're the player. You go choose how you want to play. Here's the content you have to beat. Go find your 3-man fire team or your 6-man team or your 4-man or 6-man or whatever you want to do for PvP. Here's your possibilities. Now, you go find something. You don't like how this other team is playing or how you're going up against this other guy. You go find a build that can combat their build. They don't have to balance it out. They've opened up the game to a world of endless possibilities where you as the player get to choose your own ending and say, well, I've built this custom build out. This is how I'm going to play it. And I found this guy over here. He's playing this way. I got to figure out how I can beat that build.
Yeah.
Just saying, might be the way to bring some people back and a lot of enjoyment, because then all of a sudden you're not hamstringing them and you're not introducing anything new to the game. No new game files. You're just unlocking attributes and letting people do it.
Yeah.
I agree.
Would the content creators these days still find ways to expose and exploit that? Would that push a meta? Could they be creating a meta if we found still things that work better than the others? I guess what I'm trying to hear is I like where you're going
The
with that,
gun
but would we
depends
still
who holds it.
Yeah, I mean, look at Astacross.
It's the skill.
Look
really.
at Astacross, man. He doesn't care. He does a video on every gun. He's in PvP and how to do it. And then he's like, well, this and that. He did a little video on Revoker, and how its frame allows for this and the ammo and everything else. And that could be a huge problem in trials. So he's going out and he's already exploring all this other stuff. Mesa does to an extent when he does some of his builds. Willis Gaming does a few, not as many anymore, but there's several guys out there that break stuff down and they do specific builds. And I think if you open it up, there's going to be a huge world of content creation. And you're going to have guys that are streaming and promoting the game more positively, getting that name out there more, bringing the people back in. And all of a sudden, if you have more people playing, more season stuff going, more transitions and all that other stuff, Bungie all of a sudden is going to have more money to do Bungie 3, because right now I don't think they got the funding for it. Just saying.
Yeah.
It's just a
I
creative
never
way
really
to solve
considered
the
that, but
problem.
yeah, I mean, it definitely could be. Yeah, they're just trying to extend things, right? Create their run up.
Yeah.
4, 3.
I mean, it's kind of taking a page out of the D2 Warlords in New York when they made all those changes. Now you get the attribute, you save it in. Now you can modify your gear. So it's not original, but it's not like it's not already in the game. They just have to unlock it.
Yeah.
So
Well, any other thoughts on kind of State of Destiny? I'm happy to kind of actually have a question kind of like of Guardian Con or the GCX too, right? That we can kind of transition over to. But any final thoughts on Destiny 2, the current meta, things like that? So what I want to ask is, right, like with everything that's going on in the current environment, what's the outlook for Guardian Con, right? We hear, right, something like E3 being canceled. We have sporting events and NCAA tournaments.
You had
and
NBA,
MLB seasons.
NBA's been impacted because what's his face tested positive, so they said NBA is going to shut down for a couple of weeks. All the schools here are closed. I've had a couple of I know InfraGard has canceled their stuff. A lot of SANS trainings that were scheduled, they're doing them all on demand now, online for a lot of people instead of having the real life conferences. I did get notice. I did get a notice that one of the other cons I was looking at is canceled. People don't realize, they're just blowing it out of proportion and everything. But we're going to call it the human malware. Okay. That way we don't get in trouble or demonetized or anything. But the human malware that's going around and the mob mentality that's following suit everywhere, because people are really, I think it's a serious problem, and I'm not making light of it because it's pretty serious. But the impact that it's having on us socially and the controls that's opening up from a political standpoint, from a scare standpoint, the fact that I went to Costco and stood in line for an hour today, and Costco was completely out of toilet paper and completely out of rice and completely out of beans and all this other stuff. But their frozen food section, their meat section, and their vegetable section was literally untouched. Just boggles my mind. I think the mob mentality is what's going to cause a problem in the long run. And I think they're smart by restricting. You give it 3 or 4 weeks, and I think it's going to blown over. Will the impact have been there? Will they use that as an impact for Guardian Con? I have no idea. But
I did see a tweet about that, actually, now that you're talking about Guardian Con.
From Guardian Con? I mean, I'm also curious. Yeah.
Currently, they're still going to do it, but they'll make an actual decision, I think, around May, they said.
Right.
Yep.
And if they do end up canceling for everybody that has purchased a ticket, they said you can either get a refund minus admin fees and such, or use it just for next year's.
Gotcha. Well, it's good they're already ahead of it. Sounds like the right types of things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they added some other stuff to it as well.
Yeah, German. I got a text tonight that said for the next 2 weeks, possibly longer, I'll be working from home exclusively. No one's allowed in the office.
Put it in general on the Discord.
Okay.
I feel you there, Geek. Got an email from my director today, officially saying next week we're all from home again. There's one a new one in.
So
that's for Guardian Con.
Now, I got a question for Mr. Bobby Nader. Since I don't get to talk geek with a lot of people get a little bit. They're like, talk games, man. Don't talk geek. Perfect build system.
Perfect build.
Yeah. What's your dream system?
It, like, money aside, are we talking?
We know you don't care about the money part.
You're
got
right.
other ways.
You're totally right. So definitely not a big AMD guy, but I cannot lie. That 3990X, that 64 core beast, that is
$4,000 processor, y'all. 4,000.
Yeah, that thing's a monster.
The Threadripper. Yeah.
And then you got the new RTX Quadro that just came out.
$5,500.
It's ridiculous.
So Bobby's gotten a processor and a video card, and he's breaking almost 10 grand. Hasn't gotten anything else. We're 10 grand. Keep going.
Yeah.
The motherboard to support the Threadripper is close to $600. So
yeah, whatever motherboard I'd need to support it, I'd get it. Probably. Oh man,
how much RAM? If you're gonna go that much money, you're gonna go out and get the 256 gigs of RAM.
Oh yeah. All right, I might do what Linus did and do 2 terabytes.
Did you see that box that he built?
I did. Yeah.
Freaking $21,000
for ridiculous
a desktop system.
That's almost as much.
It's a car. Yeah, that's like
dude.
Silly.
No, I would go the 256. I wouldn't go that crazy. Don't worry. But
well, he could only go 256. That was a Threadripper.
Yeah,
and the Threadripper only will take up to support up to 256 gigs of RAM, and that's by design because AMD. There's another processor. I forget the name of it. Quest. I'd have to go look. There's a business chip class, and they didn't want it to go in and bleed into that market space. I don't believe. But yeah,
I gotcha.
So you go which 2 video cards? So 2 of the Quadros?
No, just 1 Quadro. 2 would be. I would probably burn something, man. It'd catch on fire.
Yeah, you'd have to do custom loop. You'd have to do some custom water cooling.
Nuts.
I would bet that you would do 2 radiators.
Probably, yeah, easily.
Because I would probably separate. I would cool the video card separate from the Threadripper.
I definitely would. Yeah.
Would you put heat sinks on your
totally.
RAM?
Yeah, totally.
Would you put heat sinks on the RAM?
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah,
I would. Yeah. Safe. I don't want anything to catch on fire. Like I said.
You know that
man.
they've got custom water loops now, little block mounts for the M2 drives too, as well, right?
I did not.
Yeah, they do.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Probably like 20 grand is what I'm looking at, right? We're starting to get up there.
Just don't do that case that he did. That was the. Oh.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
RBG or no RBG?
Oh, of course RBG, dude. My monitor has RBG, my PC has RBG, my keyboard, my mouse, everything.
Yeah, everything.
It's red and black. It looks great. It looks so cool.
Mine's gonna be
He's got
black
RGBs
and orange.
his wheels
when
on his
I'm
car
done.
too.
But
No.
So here's the interesting thing. I was going through all these forums and stuff as I was mapping mine out because I'm going to actually get the OS and everything installed and all that on my new 3950X, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I was going through the forums and everything, and all these guys are asking about parts. And they're about the RAM to get, the 3600 RAM. Can you overclock it? What's the differences here? What's the settings for the voltage? What do you do for your motherboard? What do you do? Do you get all this other stuff that goes into the fine tuning details of a new system? And then I asked the question because no one was talking about it. And I was trying to research it because my wife pilfered my other monitor. So I got a new monitor. But how many people out there spend all the time in the world to build these really cool gaming rigs and systems and then just go buy a $200 monitor and not realize that they're only going to get about 65% out of their graphical view?
Yeah. I mean, when I bought mine, I have a 2070 in mine, and I made sure before I got the monitor that it could play 4K. Originally from the Xbox, it came from an OLED. It's a 5-inch, great TV. Still love it. Still use it to watch TV on. I don't play games anymore, unfortunately, over there. Anyway, so 2070. Yeah, I looked into it and I dug deep and I was like, all right, so what can it do? And it was like it could do 4K, 1440p, 144 hertz. It could do it. And I started digging into monitors and stuff and ended up finding the LG that I have. It's a VA panel. So it's a nice hybrid between TN and IPS. IPS, yeah, thank you. So it does the 140. Like, I mean, I rock Destiny. Like, I have it overclocked to 165.
Oh, nice.
And I have it sitting at 160 because I'm trying to keep in that nice median because you don't want to go all the way to 165 because you start having frame ripping and stuff. I don't need that.
Yeah.
So I have it sitting at the nice 160, and I mean, you go into the tower, I drop down to like, I think the lowest I've ever gotten in the tower when it's packed is maybe 95.
Oh, that's
but most
not bad
time I'm running in lost sectors and stuff. I'm cranking like 140, 150, 160 easy. Like it's just banging through it, raids. It's awesome. It's fantastic.
Now, are you able to so like one of the reasons now
Jealous.
are you running an i9 or are you running AMD?
i9.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I get to ask this question a lot. I want your thoughts on this one too. They ask me a lot why I went with a 3950X instead of an i9 processor when i9 is still being able to have the better overclocking, push to the 5.0 hertz and everything, where the AMD is more capping around 4.2 to 4.3. If you're really good, you get your systems just right, you can get up towards 4.5. But why would I go with the 3950? And for me, it's because I can do other things, not just game. Because if I'm going to spend the kind of money I spent on the box, I want to be able to do multitasking. In this case, this very specific thing, I don't like running two boxes to game and stream at the same time. I think it's a waste. I think it's a waste of space and resources, especially with the technology it is today. So this one is built because OBS really, really takes advantage of more cores, and the 3950 has 16 cores in it. Dedicated 16 cores, a really good kind of build on it. So that's the reason I went with that specific processor. And people are like, well, you could have got a 3900 and gotten a 12. I was like, yeah, I want the 4 extra cores. I'm a whore that way. But,
no, I feel you.
That's what I did.
Not us.
Yeah,
I feel you
Language.
there. I do. Like, definitely having the more cores is definitely nice. And, the compute units you could have with the 5 gigahertz, I mean, is nice too.
But is that really that big of an impact in the game? Have you noticed? I haven't seen it.
Truthfully, my CPU when I run Destiny, Division, anything,
Mm-hmm.
it uses about 10% of the CPU.
Right.
And then the
That's
rest of
all
it's
GPU.
going right to the GPU. I mean, the CPU is running cool all the time. I'm like, okay, I have not played a game yet that I've been trying to break it. I've been trying to find the game to push it over the edge and finally be like, okay, this is the mark. And I haven't found it yet, which I'm happy. I know maybe 2 years from now I'll find that game.
Cards and technology are going to change. I think finally with the AMD doing what it's doing, driving the push, we're going to see a shift in about 2 to 3 years. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh yeah, I mean they brought the heat, like they definitely did, and Nvidia is gonna have to answer back this year, and if they don't, they're gonna be taking a seat. I'm not trying to rhyme. I'm not trying to rhyme or anything here. So
well, I do think one thing's different between AMD versus Intel and AMD Radeon versus Nvidia. So everyone that doesn't understand, there are two different types of not only processors but two big competitors inside the graphic card world or GPU realm, and that's AMD Radeon versus NVIDIA. Okay. I do think, unlike Intel, I do think that NVIDIA is constantly always moving forward and pushing boundaries. So I really think it'll be tough for AMD to catch up to them. But as they do refine their processes and manufacturing processes for their nanotechnology and get that smaller and the heat and the power and everything more efficient, and I think also as motherboard and board developers are getting used to that form factor and actually getting the dialed in settings and everything, like Asus is not this last BIOS update, but the one before, it is in November or December that they pushed, where they actually started pushing out the proper voltage settings for RAM and to take proper voltage regulation settings for other chipsets, I think is finally catching up. i9 and Lake has been out for years. AMD Radeon 3900 and its bridge set had just now started coming out. So I do see a huge competition, and I think that's what the industry's been lacking. So we get that competition. We as users and gamers are going to start benefiting from it, I think. Now, am I going to spend a lot more money? Probably.
Yeah. I could agree with you there. I feel you, yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, it's going to be interesting because I think they have a conference in August, right? Early August, like August 2nd or 3rd.
It doesn't get canceled.
Yeah. but
they're going to do it. I do know they said they're going to do at least a virtual conference.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see where they place the next stake, because AMD came out and they were like, they placed the stake. They're like, here we are, we're coming back. I do agree with you. NVIDIA keeps moving that bar forward, and AMD is kind of trying to play catch up. I wouldn't be surprised if once, like you said, they get everything tightly knit, maybe 3 years from now, AMD is now the top dog in both categories. I mean, they already are in CPU, but GPU, they're holding the flag. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, Intel's got a long ways to go with their nano refinement.
Oh, they do.
And I'm not doubting they're not developing it, but AMD just walked up with a metal gauntlet and hit him upside the face and said, "Take that." And it's going to take them a while to get up off the ground. And by the time they get off the ground, AMD is going to refine Nanoblock 4, and that's going to be at that point, instead of AMD playing catch up, Intel is going to have to play not catch up, but try to pass them.
Oh yeah,
and that's going to be a fun race to watch. I'm sick that way, but I think it's going to be a fun race. The next thing I want to see is some sort of challenge and mindset and change to how we use and how RAM is developed and used. We've seen that. We've seen the increase with the M2s and the PCI 4 and the speed and the read write stuff. When was the last time we saw an upgrade to RAM?
Yeah, we're still on DDR4, aren't we?
Right. I mean, you got your video cards are what, DDR6?
Yeah.
Which is for video specific. What about our RAM? Could you give me a DDR6 RAM stick?
Yeah, that'd be that'd be nuts.
Yeah. If you give me that, I have no problem dropping. I'll drop $400 or $500 on 32 gigs of RAM. If you guys give me DDR6, I'll be fine that way. I'll be the prince with the invisible clothes because I can't afford any, but I got a really nice RBG system I can crank up so you can't see me. But
it's blind everybody, yeah.
Yeah,
I feel you.
Who was it? Was it in one of our channels today, guys? We were talking about the builds, and somebody was saying I'm gonna miss the three. Oh, it was Sage. He was like, I miss the 3.5-inch drives or the old drives because a lot of those new cases now they do have a couple slots, but with the advent of a SSD 2.5-inch drive, you can fit so much space in there. You don't have mechanical drives or platters anymore. And it's just so much more space efficient. Heat, not so much, because SSDs can still heat up. But, I mean, I found it fascinating. Like the new box, I have no mechanical drives in it. I decided to do a couple 1 terabyte M2 drives. And then I have a couple smaller SSD drives. And then I picked up the, it's an 8 terabyte external Seagate I got from Costco. And that thing's freaking fantastic. It's 3.0 USB. And the transfer speeds on it are pretty legit. So I've got all my storage and I don't have any problems. So
I've got one half that size, the same one that you have that sits literally right there.
Yeah,
it's been pretty solid so far too. So
it's going to be interesting. I honestly, the newer systems, no one talks about a DVD drive anymore. No one talks about optical drives. I seriously, the technology is getting there now with the solid state. I think platters are great, but the old technology that's used, the rare earths and everything that are used to make all that stuff, as we move through the climate and the change in social and all that stuff and politics and everything, I could honestly see in a year or 2 or 3 those mechanical drives going away. And us going really, really, just a solid state, non-moving environment, which is a good thing because spinners and stuff wearing down on you. The fans might wear out, but even then, I mean, researching fans for my box, you got mag drive and bearing driven and liquid bearing and all that. It was really crazy, but the way we're moving. And then you toss in, I wanted to get everyone's thoughts on this one. It's big in the UK right now. There's a huge things for iFixit, and there's I can't remember his name. The UK is actually working through legislation right now. The right to repair is the movement, and they're calling the bill that says, I have the right to repair my phone. Where's my specs that I can go repair the phone myself? So I don't have to go into an Apple store where Apple's telling you, no, it's going to cost you $800 to do this or $1,000 to do that. It's just going to be cheaper for you to buy a new phone or buy a new MacBook or Samsung. It's just cheaper to buy that. Where's my right to repair? So the UK is sponsoring it. It's starting to catch on really big in the United States too. So you're going to see a shift on it to where the legislation is saying not only do you need to be able to provide the user with the ability to make repairs to the electronic device that they purchase from you, but they can go choose who fixes the device, not the dealership. Like we have cars. I don't have to go to a dealership and pay $2,000 that they're telling me it's going to cost me to fix it when I can go to Joe's garage and get it fixed for $250.
I love it. It brings some basic economics back into the equation there.
The other part of the thing that they're putting inside the legislation is length of life and quality of your device. Instead of releasing it with bloatware on your phone that you don't get control over, that gradually over time wears your phone down, they are an obligation in that kind of price range to make a device that lasts longer than a year. You get $1,000 phones that last a year to a year and a half. Oh, I got to go buy a new phone. That's BS, man. It used to be, I buy a phone, I want at least 2 to 3 years out of it. Out of a computer or a laptop, I want 2 to 3, 4 years out of it. If I'm going to spend that kind of money. And that the mentality of these manufacturers, it's a disposable world. We can't do that anymore because of the climate impact. So they're getting pressure not only from consumers, but a global impact. How do we impact? It's going to be interesting to find, and that might geek a lot of people out, but it's going to impact us as gamers. I mean, our controllers, are they going to be better? Are they going to be able to last longer? Are they going to be better quality? The TVs, the monitors, the computer components, everything we use, if those start passing, what's the impact going to be to us? So, will our prices
since you said that about controllers, I've had the same Xbox One Elite controller since the Xbox came out. No problems.
I wish I could say the same thing.
Still works perfectly fine. That's what happens when you let birds use it.
What about your PS4 controllers? And this isn't
Still
me.
good.
Still good? You didn't get a new one though, didn't you?
There's the old one.
Right. You just got a new one though, right?
Yeah, actually, shout out real quick to Space and Mesa. I got this sent to me from Space.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Mesa Sean.
Looks great in real life. I mean, obviously not real life.
Actually, yeah.
it
And
looks
the
great.
thing is, though, the reason I happen to like this one too, since we brought up controllers, is
Yeah.
you look at your Xbox controller, right?
Mm-hmm.
The button layout is the exact same.
Yep.
Yep.
There you
That's
go.
why, to me, it works really well.
I'm gonna say
Or these
this though.
shenanigans.
The Mesa Sean faceplate doesn't go with your bedspread, so you can just send the controller to me. And we'll call it good. Because
I do have another one that I can't change, so don't worry about it. I got you.
So you do wash your bedding every now and then. Okay.
Hey, look, man, when you're a Georgia fan, it just stands out, you know?
Gotcha.
There you go.
On that note, is anyone in the channels have any questions for us, or want to throw Bobby into the bus? I'm surprised your brother's not chiming in with horror stories to embarrass you.
He's over at buddy's house tonight, so he's living the
German,
college life.
if you're here, do you have some shade that you can throw at Bobby real quick?
Yeah.
Nah, he doesn't.
Let me see
Who
if
is-
I can help
who is-
accelerate this.
Welcome, and by the way, who is Heated Bike? By the way, is that your name in game? Have we ran with you? Does he know you guys? Who's Heated Bike?
I don't know. I was talking with them in chat back and forth, and then they were wondering they're in school.
Okay.
Their school extended their spring break as well.
Yeah, ours got it.
German has 2 weeks off from work.
Yep. I wish I
Yeah,
had 2 weeks
see,
off. They're making me work from home. It's okay.
I can't work from home. My machine won't run from here.
Nonsense.
Your
you figure-
laptop?
No, the CNC lathe.
We can fix it so it can.
Oh yeah, the part
But
is
you,
put
the,
the part in
the
it.
change of the material might be the difficult part.
Yeah, yeah. I'll just run the same part all day. That's great. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Things
Well-
won't go well.
Want me to throw out some questions? Is that a good end of chat for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, throw some stuff at Bobby.
All right. So earlier, German talked about how he was wasting money and never playing a game that he bought. So I was curious to see what's one game that you purchased that you've never played, that you totally intended to, but just never touched. I can go first if you guys need some time to think.
Yeah, let me look.
Yeah. Go
So-
first, Otto.
So for me, it's Middle Earth: Shadow of Mordor. I kind of
Oh,
love the fighting
what?
system. I bought it
What?
and didn't play it somehow.
What?
I don't
Oh,
know. Yeah,
That's a great game. That is a fantastic
that's what
game.
I hear, and it's like right up my alley. I love the old Lord of the Rings games on the PS2,
You're
the
breaking my
fighting
heart,
style,
Otto.
Batman Arkham's. Like I love it, and I didn't play
You
it.
br- You're breaking my heart, man. That's such a good game. You need to go play it. Like after this is done, go play it.
Just
like-
go play it. Yeah.
Put it in.
No,
Destiny
man,
can wait.
I'm gonna play Destiny, the same thing
No,
I've been playing
no.
for 1,000 hours. So,
Oh
come
yeah.
on.
I've got mine right here. I showed it before on one of the podcasts. I still haven't played it. It still hasn't been
Yeah,
opened.
Nino Cooney.
And I hear
Still
nothing
a
but
great
good
game.
stuff. Yes, I PS4. It's trying to pull me away from the PC. It's just a really tough thing to do.
Yeah.
Is
Says the guy that pre-ordered Persona 5 Royal too.
shush, shush, shush. Well, that one I have reason to play because do you have this game?
Yes.
Well, then
$5
if you
is great,
streamed
too,
it, I
by the
would
way.
play against you. Right? There was a whole bunch of the. This is how well PS4 is doing on the market. Walmart had, I think, like 30 different PS4 games for $5.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because last time I went there, Geek had actually picked up a few different games, but I actually have played them. So
Ooh, I was going to show you this too, Jay, since you do the anime. I don't know how many else people in here watch anime, but a friend of mine sent this to me.
Bobby does.
It's really hard
Here.
to get a hold of.
Huh.
When was the last time do you ever watch Lotus Wars?
No, I have not
Dude,
seen
it
that
is
one.
old school anime, totally
Cool.
based off of Dungeons and Dragons. It's so cool.
I mean, if we want to go through the anime list, we could stay here for another 2 hours.
Oh, God.
And by a couple, I mean like
Bobby, you
maybe
see
100.
the fully coolie thing, right?
I do, yeah. I noticed that. Yeah, that's cool.
How about you, Jake?
Cells at work is above it.
What game you got you haven't been playing? That you bought that you never played?
That's actually the hard part.
Well, then you're better than I, because on the Switch too, I have a whole like series of games I bought digitally for like discount. I never played.
See, that's the thing.
Black
I've played
Friday?
Fire Emblem Moins.
Yeah.
I've played Fire Emblem Three Houses. I've played Sword and Shield as well.
Yep.
This is going to sound really bad, but one of the ways I find out if it's a game that's going to hold my interest or not lately, and I love this, is if my son gets into it, then chances are I'm going to really enjoy it. So
Nice.
he's my tester and evaluator because
He's the beta tester.
he's the beta tester. He's like, hey,
Yeah, I heard of.
Man, look, honestly, this is completely off the grid, but I wish we would have had have him live when he got that Scorch Cannon the other day.
oh dude, I wish I would have been streaming that so bad. What was
Oh,
it
it
he
was
said?
amazing.
He picked up the Scorch Can. He was doing Destiny. By the way, he's 7 and he found Destiny boring and went back to playing Halo. So we got to figure out something for Bungie. Maybe he'd go to Bungie with me for a couple of weeks and say, hey guys, this is what you need to fix. But he picked up that Scorch Bit Cannon. He was like, yeah, was it yeah, baby?
Yeah.
Yeah, he yelled at yeah, baby, and started shooting stuff. It was like they unleashed an inner
me
cannon
and
in him,
Evil
man. It was
And
so...
Geek and chat together. It was hilarious.
Yeah, we were playing Breakpoint, I think.
Yeah. Let's break
I was dying. I was so dying. It was awesome.
You know, I can't really think of a game that I've bought and that I haven't actually at least put some hours into.
Honestly, that's commendable and okay. Bobby, you got anything?
Probably not. I mean, usually I'll do my run around with the game before I download it or start playing it. I'll look up a
Nice.
few reviews about it, kind of get a feel for what it looks like and be like, maybe I'll play it for a little bit. If I don't like it, gets uninstalled. We move on.
Fair
If
enough.
it's something I'm going to buy, though, Anthem put me in a very bad way. So
Anthem.
I
Did me
don't
dirty.
pre-order a game unless I know it's a sequel to a game I will like Gears 5. Or
That was included in Game Pass. I didn't have to pay for it. It was awesome.
yeah. I wish I
Same.
wish
I
I
didn't have to pay for
went
it
that
either.
route.
Just like Ori and Will of the Wisp was included in the Game Pass. I didn't have to buy it.
Dead Cells on Game Pass too.
True.
I've been digging in a little bit more on.
Yeah.
Game Pass.
So I mean, people might knock on it, but
Well, big reason for me that I'm glad that I have it too is so I can play it on PC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, there's a ton. I mean, I looked at it the other day. I haven't probably downloaded a game. Yeah, probably in a while. I haven't downloaded a game from Game Pass in a while, and I like it always being there as an option, because eventually there will be something that's going to come out and be like, oh, like maybe the next Halo game. Yeah, Infinite.
Yeah.
I think that's coming. I'm going to be like, full train ahead. Let's go. As long as they don't.
we
do
all
it like
need to
Halo
decide
5.
right now. Everyone's going to do it on PC, right?
Oh yeah, dude.
Sorry, Otto.
No offense, Otto.
All right. I'll go on Amazon, buy some parts.
We can do a gaming system for about $1,000. It'll hold it up.
They'll
saying.
give me a credit card like that, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, actually,
Ask
you probably
Bobby.
can. Hey,
I mean, if they give me one.
hey, look, hey, Otto. Actually, though, since we did bring up Amazon, yeah, you can really do that. Or even if you buy a lot of stuff from Amazon, they have
Yeah.
a plan where you can make payments over 5 months to buy something.
Yeah.
nice.
They had a
certain
couple
things.
actually entry-level gaming PCs that weren't too bad. When we were looking at, because my wife wants to build one, but we were looking at stuff, we found a couple that were actually pretty decent that did 5-month payments, and I think they're like $220. It's not something I would personally build, but it's an AMD
To get started,
3700,
Yeah.
16 gigs of RAM, and a 500 gigs hard drive with, I think it was a 2060 card
Yeah.
or maybe a 1660. I couldn't remember, but it would do everything we're doing right now just fine. You wouldn't be able to stream
yeah.
and game on it at the same time per se, but yeah. So for those that are
Yeah,
interested,
if you put it that way too, though, right? Like if I'm smart and break it up, it's not $1,000 chunk at once, right?
No,
And that you can fit into your,
It's a smaller payment for you to
anim-
do.
Yeah,
That it's something
Sure.
possible. Actually, you
Nice,
could
German.
send it to him and let him take a look at it.
yeah, I'll take a
So-
look. So I do know a few friends that are doing gaming monitors that way as well. I mean, because those monitors, let's face facts, you go from $200 or $300, and all of a sudden there's no middle ground, man. All of a sudden you're $500, $600, $700, and some of those
Yeah.
higher end ones that break $2,000. I'm never buying a $2,000 monitor. Knock on wood. But I mean, like the
Not
one-
yet.
Mine will with his 20
Not yet.
PC.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd have to if I want to enjoy it.
Yeah, I want to stay married. But,
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean,
yeah,
it's got its benefits, and the cool thing is it doesn't ding. It's not interest rates or anything like that. So it's actually Amazon Prime providing a pretty decent service for you.
that's great then.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do it, Otto. Join us.
Come to the dark side.
Hey, you know,
Wait,
this
I get to say,
this
come
is
to the dark side.
insert for
We
one
have
of us.
cookies. We have cookies.
Yum yum.
Browser cookies, but we have browser. We have no cookies. So.
I mean, they're still cookies.
Except.
Technically, the Xbox and the PS4 do too, since they have browsers on them. But you know,
Hey, I work for a marketing tech company. Cookies are part of my
He
daily
likes
life.
cookies.
somebody has the case of the Mondays.
Mm,
But that's my
that's
favorite.
right.
Two different movie references. Thank you. Okay. I think we're.
All right,
losing
guys.
it.
So I'm thinking final question. Hopefully this is a good one. If not, you can veto and I can switch. But it's final
See what you
final
did there.
question.
Nice Nintendo plug there.
Yeah. Actually, it's unintended somehow, but I'll take it. Final questions. Where can we find you? And then we'll kind of wrap up. It's Friday the 13th, so I feel like a horror question is in mind. What is your favorite horror game or movie if you don't play horror games?
Oof. Horror game? Doom 3. When I was probably 12, 14, in that range, that was that game. That game was a very different game. That changed a lot about video games for me after playing Doom 3.
Nice.
Doom.
Doom Eternal,
Very
baby, just
good
came
answer
out.
there.
I'm excited for Doom Eternal. I'm gonna be picking
Nice.
that up.
Mm-hmm. Stadia is
plugs
getting
for you,
crap
Bobby?
for it, but you know.
Where could,
Is that
do
Otto?
you want to give a where can we find you? Do you want to do you're active on Twitter or not?
You can find me on Destiny.
Heck yeah, that's right.
grinding,
Same.
grinding bounties, grinding bounties.
Uh,
Maybe on Division, but
Season of Lost Sectors. Let's go.
yes,
Heck yeah.
yeah, let's do it, man. I'll be doing that right after this. I don't really use social media that much.
That's good.
If you take Discord as social media, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Find you on Discord, right? You're active
Yeah,
in the channel, absolutely.
I'm not a huge social media fan, but other than that, yeah. I'm around. Ping me, hit me up, run
Cool.
some Destiny stuff, Division stuff. Hey, even other games. I'll look at my library. I definitely have a bunch.
Awesome. Bobby, thank you also very much for jumping on today. Just wanted to say we appreciate you jumping on as a guest, man.
Oh, this was a fun time.
Hell yeah.
I didn't get called Mr. Moneybags once, so it's good.
I was going to say.
Show me the money.
No, that is capital Mr. Dot Moneybags.
They call me
I think
Mister.
my skin's turning green, man. All that.
Yeah.
So
All
he's
that money.
So you're buying me a PC? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
wait
I
before
don't
it guys. Here you go.
Oh man. Or me. Unforsaken Jay, do you want to go next?
There you
You
go.
know what? I still happen to like Resident Evil.
Check out his new name on his camera.
I like it.
Oh my.
I like it.
No, Resident Evil's always been one that I've liked.
Nice.
Actually, Otto, now that I say that, I realized you were playing Resident Evil on Xbox.
Yeah, Resident Evil 2 I thought was outstanding. I just ran through Leon's campaign.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of 4. Honestly, Resident Evil 5, I played a ton of co-op on with my friends throughout the years. Probably cleared that 4 or 5 times. Resident Evil 6, a little bit of time. 7, I actually bought and then played a little bit and didn't play anymore. But 2, and I'm excited for Resident Evil 3 Remake. And you got my whole Resident Evil life story.
There we go. But you can find me at Twitter, Mixer, Discord, Instagram, all at Unforsaken J.
Awesome.
Nice.
You wanna go next, Geek?
Yeah, I don't really do a lot of horror games. I like the Resident Evil games. There was one of them, I can't remember which one. I didn't really care for the controls on it. I got to play it. The only reason I played it was because it was on the Game Pass. The new remakes, I like the controls on that. I tried the Walking Dead game series. Really disappointed.
Yeah.
The problem is I don't really find horror games or anything all that scary. When I was a little kid, my Uncle George took us to see Aliens in the theater, and we were staying at their house, and he had a waterbed, so I thought we were going to get killed by a freaking alien coming out of the waterbed. And he took us back to see the movie again the next day because my aunt about beat the crap out of him, and he explained to us all the special effects and everything. So since then, I really haven't. Horror movies really haven't done anything for me, so I haven't really gotten into the games. My wife loves them, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't really found one.
That's fair. For me, I gotta say Dead Space in particular, I thought was outstanding. Dead Space 1 and 2 were just great. Loved co-op in 3. Have a very kind of just good memories of that series in particular.
Mm-hmm.
You can find me at Autonomy on Twitter, probably where I'm most active, Discord, and YouTube. Oh, and now Mixer, first stream done this week.
That's
right.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, for everybody tuning in today, thank you so much. We appreciate you watching, being active in Mixer and Discord. Please follow, like, share, right? We want to get out there and we want you to help us grow the community. The community is a huge part of this. And let us know about feedback and questions and games that you play. We want to engage with you.
One of the big things I'll close with on too. One of the things we're trying to ensure that we do with the community, and we've had some really interesting reviews on this one. A lot of it's been positive. Is we want to make sure that this and the community that we grow is family friendly. So not only dads and moms get to come to it, but it's going to be a place that you can feel comfortable with your kids coming to find out about games that they can play and interact safely.
Yep. Awesome. Abhijay, final word?
Final word?
Yeah,
Nah, man. That's hurt. I'm not gonna steal
3.
Hurt's thunder.
Yeah, yeet.
Yeah, yeet. It's a hurt. He's in the field deployed right now for military activities, so we told him we gotta hold it up for him and go, yeah, yeet. And also shout outs to Unit and Angle who are missing tonight. So yeah. All right, guys. With that, get out there, play games, make friends, and have fun.
Let's go.